According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the US, affecting 40 million US adults ages 18 and older, or 18.1% of the population every year. Many of us experience anxiety throughout the day, and most of us don't even seek out for help, which can lead to more severe symptoms. During a recent school project of mine, my group and I had to find a client who had an issue, and our job was to invent something to help him with that problem. Our client was in his late teens and he complained about severe anxiety. He says, quote, "I often get panic attacks at night, I get really sweaty, and I sometimes have difficulty breathing, and it's very hard to control when it happens." Also, according to the American Psychiatric Association, who ran a poll in 2017 on 1,000 US residents, and they found that two-thirds of the people there had slight to extreme cases of anxiety, and about a third of the people there had more anxiety than they did the year before. Also, what makes things worse is that anxiety is actually very common in kids as well as younger children as well. According to Dr. Whitfield Gabrielli, a brain imaging expert at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, she says, quote, "Anxiety disorders are the most common psychiatric disorders in children, with an estimated 1 in 3 suffering anxiety at some point during childhood or adolescence." So how does this relate to you? Well, I know some of us, or many of us, have had experiences where we had to stand and present in front of a large crowd or a group of classmates, and when we're up there, we get really nervous, we start to stutter, we start to forget what we've been practicing, and our heart starts beating like crazy, and you just feel completely awful. Well, you don't have to feel that way anymore. My recommendation for you is going to see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or someone within that field. I suggest going to see Dr. Rena Becerra. If you look her up online, there are many websites with her information and her background, and on Yelp she has a 4.5 out of 5 review, so you know she's a very good person to talk to. Recently, I contacted her and I asked her about how her patients usually are after they talk with her. And she says that majority of them have found a decrease in their symptoms, and they have been able to learn lifestyle changes to help them in the long run, as well as the root causes of their anxiety. Also, according to the American Psychiatric Association, about 75% of people who enter psychotherapy have found positive benefits from it. And Bruce E. Wampoy, a counseling psychology professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, says that psychotherapy works and the research and science back it up. So to summarize, many of us suffer from anxiety at some point in our lives, and many of us don't act on it to improve the condition. If this was a live audience, I would give you a flyer on Dr. Rena Becerra with her information so you can book an appointment with her when you have the time. To conclude, I would like all of you guys to think about those times where you had anxiety and think about that feeling you had during that moment. And what if I told you those symptoms and those feelings can be so severe that it can actually become life-threatening?